some good search keywords for vetting a company before I decide to apply for a job or take a job offer?
Ooh, for vetting them.
What keywords can I search along with a company name to figure out this is a place I actually want to be?
I would start by searching lawsuit, the company's name and lawsuit.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Or discrimination. Like start out with the red flags, a few of the like obvious, like what kind of lawsuits are they involved in? Because most of them are involved in lawsuits, but that's just kind of normal. That's normal. But for instance, there are some MSOs who are actively suing jurisdictions to try to stop social equity programs. So in Massachusetts, really quick example, in Massachusetts, social equity businesses get priority on delivery licenses. And there are literally MSOs that are spending thousands and thousands of dollars trying to say that that's discriminatory to them. So you want to look for things like that. You want to look to see if there's rare cases, but they are out there of companies that have had lawsuits based on sexual harassment and things like that. But I'd be curious too, if you just search like the company name and diversity or inclusion, like even though those are buzzwords and don't really mean much anymore or really never have, but what comes up, do they have, or you could search social equity on the company name, like what comes up, what kind of programs, what kind of press releases. I think it's important to look at what press releases they've put out, to see, like, just to try to read between the lines, like, okay, this all sounds good, but what do I see any patterns here? Whether it's positive or negative patterns. And one other thing I'll say now, look on LinkedIn, look at who's listed as employees. I think that's such a helpful thing to be able to look up the company and then see who's, and those are people who are willing to be publicly identified as employees, because you'll find a lot more employees listed on their LinkedIn page than you will on their website. Like a lot of times you're looking at the company's website, you're like, I don't even know who works here or who's behind this, who's who's on the board. You sometimes have to really dig to see what does their staff actually look like. And a lot of companies won't list their staff because they're so used to so much turnover. I've seen companies that used to have their executives or their managers listed and have just remove that part of the website, I think, because of turnover, and it opens them up to a lot of criticism of like, okay, you're talking about DEI work, but your staff is mostly white. So you do have to kind of look and cross-check in different places.
Yes, and I would second that. I would also, looking through any social media that they have and looking at the posts of the staff events that they have. Does their staff actually look diverse? Because on their website, sometimes you'll see a lot of just stock images of diverse people. But when you actually look at, their events, or if you get a peek inside their dispensary or in their workplaces, then you realize, oh, wait, they're not as diverse as they, sort of purport to be. The other thing I would be interested in is mergers and acquisitions. So if you look up M&As, it's hot right now in the
trending upward
economy. Yeah. And well, that's not necessarily, it's not necessarily a bad thing, right? That companies are growing and transitioning. It means that they're transitioning. And so there might be a transition of leadership, of managers. So you'll just want to be aware, is the company actually actively going through a transition, which may affect the culture, right? You might enter into the establishment or the facility, the workplace with one leadership, and then it's in transition. And then, what you end up with is a completely different company culture. So we just want to be aware of that.
That is a really, really good point. So looking not just like past what this company has done in the past or what they're involved in now, but their future.
Another thing to look for is, takes a little bit more digging, but I do have cannabis business associations like bookmarked, and I often will kind of look at the list of which companies are members. A lot of cannabis business associations are just lobbying groups. I always I keep a spreadsheet of companies, and I have like a category of, this new business association that was started to lobby against social equity, I'm going to put a little flag in there that these companies were the founding members of it. And I don't ever want to be doing staffing for those companies unless they publicly change their stance, which every once in a while they will. They'll come out and say, you know, we are no longer part of this association because we didn't like some of the things that they were lobbying for. So maybe that's a little advanced, but I just wanted to put that out there.